50 Cent and Papoose's long-running feud just took a shocking turn, and this time, Clarissa Shields is caught in the middle. The undefeated Olympic champion had nothing to do with their rap beef, but now she's become the latest target, and the reason behind the fallout runs deeper than anyone expected. Here's where things stand right now. 50 Cent and Papoose have been going back and forth for most of the year, but the most recent flashpoint didn't involve bars at all. It involved a photo. 50 Cent took another public jab at Papoose amid their ongoing feud, posting a photo of the rapper and his partner, boxing champion Clarissa Shields, on social media with a pointed caption, showing Shields and Papoose posing side by side, but with faces switched. The caption wasn't playful trolling, it was an accusation. 50 Cent wrote, "Very, very handsome. Hey Pap, ask your old lady Clarissa if she fecking Maserati Bud. Tell her to be honest because I have the ring camera videos." That's not a shot at Papoose's career or his bars. That's an infidelity accusation aimed straight at Shields, dressed up as a joke about Papoose, and it landed right in the middle of a feud that had already been building for months. The exchange is just the newest chapter in a feud that's been escalating throughout the year. Papoose didn't sit on it. He clapped back almost immediately, and he didn't do it by defending Shields' honor point by point. He went for 50's history instead. Pap reportedly posted a throwback picture of him, 50, Tony Yayo, and Lloyd Banks, along with an excerpt from an article accusing big rappers of buying fake streams. The caption on that old photo was blunt. "On this day, Curtis' breath was smelling like Saint," he captioned the post. So that's two rappers, one photo, and an entire relationship dragged into the crossfire. But Papoose wasn't the only one applying pressure on 50 that week. Mano had already been circling. Mano continued to apply pressure on Fifth by dropping another diss track, Bleed Like Us. That's a second-named voice piling on, and it wasn't a coincidence. 50's list of active conflicts had gotten long enough that other rappers were jumping in on their own. And this all traces back to something specific that had just happened days earlier. Papoose had recently dropped 2 diss tracks against 50 Cent, who had already tussled online with his partner Clarissa Shields, and 50 Cent was juggling more than a few beefs at once, with Papoose becoming his target for the week. So instead of answering the diss tracks bar for bar, 50's response was to troll Pap's partner Clarissa Shields as a bonus. He didn't stop at the ring camera comment either. Around the same time, he went at Papoose's career directly, with Shields still caught in the splash zone. The G-Unit mogul took to Instagram to post an AI-generated image of himself in front of a whiteboard. The whiteboard read, "The secret formula, how to never blow up. 1 rap career, still rapping, plus 25 years, still waiting, equals 0 hits, still 0. With an image of Papoose as the result. The caption doubled down, "You make 1-hit record and I'll respond. Until then, go hang out with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, LOL." 50 captioned the post. He deleted it not long after, but not because he regretted it. His explanation was, "If I put up a post and take it down, is because I don't want your uglier face on my page. I'm the algorithm, punk." So in the space of a few days, you've got 50 mocking Papoose's career, an infidelity accusation against Shields, Papoose firing back with a photo of 50 and his own former G-Unit crew, and Mano dropping a track of his own to keep the pressure on. That's the shape of where this beef sits right now. To understand how it got here, and why Shields, a boxer with 0 connection to 50's music career, ended up as a direct target, you have to go back to where this thing actually started. Before Shields was anywhere near this, 50 Cent and Papoose had already been at odds for years. This isn't a beef that started this year. It's one that's been simmering for a long time, and the roots go back to somebody else entirely, Papoose's wife, Remy Ma. To understand where 50 Cent's problems with Papoose started, all of it traces back to veteran rapper and Terror Squad alum Remy Ma. The two New York artists have history that predates any of the current back and forth, and according to reporting on the feud, 50 and Pap have been feuding for a while over their careers, successes, and statuses, with things possibly stemming from 50 sending flirtatious comments toward Remy Ma while she was still with Papoose. From there, it became a pattern. Papoose has been mercilessly trolled by 50, dealing with his AI-powered trolls on Instagram. And it's worth noting this isn't 50's only long-running feud. He's built a reputation for it. Given the sheer amount of beef 50 indulges in, it can be hard to grasp where any single one even started. He's leaned into that reputation publicly too. He's even become the face of DoorDash because of it. This year, the Papoose chapter of that ongoing story picked up steam again, and it started with something that had nothing to do with music. 50 Cent posted an AI-generated video to troll Papoose after Papoose reportedly got into an altercation with a TikTok comedian. That's the spark. Papoose had a real-world incident, and instead of it staying a one-day story, 50 turned it into content, and Papoose responded in kind. Papoose similarly fired back. That single exchange is what opened the door for everything that followed. The beef between 50 Cent, Papoose, and Clarissa Shields exploded via a lot of social media trolling on all parties' behalf. It wasn't contained to just the two of them for long either. The feud between Papoose and 50 Cent had been simmering since January, when the two exchanged AI-generated videos about each other, and each side had its own angle in those videos. 50 clowned Papoose for putting hands on the TikTok comedian, while Papoose questioned why 50 got into a feud with the podcast Let's Rap About It, or, in the phrasing used elsewhere covering the same exchange. The situation escalated after 50 posted an AI-generated clip mocking Pap over the reported altercation with the TikTok comedian, and Papoose fired back with his own AI parody while using the moment to call out 50 for avoiding smoke from Fabulous, Jim Jones, Dave East, and Mano. That last part matters more than it looks like on the surface. Papoose wasn't just defending himself. He was pointing out that 50 has a long list of rappers he's traded words with but never actually gone toe-to-toe with in a real recorded diss track. Fabulous, Jim Jones, Dave East, Mano, all names that get brought up whenever people talk about 50's beef history, and all names Papoose used to paint 50 as someone who talks a big game online, but doesn't follow through in the booth. That's the environment this was all happening in, a rapper with a long list of unfinished business, using AI-generated content instead of studio tracks, going after a rival's off-camera incident instead of his music. And it's exactly that pattern, trolling instead of responding musically, that would repeat itself throughout the rest of the year. Despite everything building around him, 50 refused to engage through actual diss tracks, instead sticking to himself and taking jabs on social media. So by the time the calendar turned over, you had two rappers with old history, a fresh public incident to point at, and a pattern already established of trading AI-generated insults rather than real songs. All that was left was for the fight to reach someone neither side had originally dragged in. And that's exactly what happened next. This is the part where a boxing champion who had nothing to do with any of this suddenly became the center of it. And it happened on one specific day, New Year's Day. Clarissa Shields shared a series of blunt Snapchat posts addressing 50 Cent after waking up on New Year's Day to see her face, along with Papoose's used in one of his posts. She wasn't vague about how she felt. I wake up New Year's Day and 50 Cent got a post with my face Papoose face on it, and I've never done or said nothing bad about him, Shields wrote. So I'm all confused, like what the heck? What's worth noting here is that Shields didn't immediately fire back the moment she saw it. Shields admitted that she's also an internet troll, but she said Papoose initially told her that he was going to handle the situation. She said as much herself. So everyone knows how I get on this internet. I'll troll a MF too, she said. But Pap said let him handle it. So I'm staying focused on my training, cause I make millions to fight. But the questions kept nagging at her, and eventually she couldn't leave it alone. But I still had questions. Why this nut-ass MF50 come bothering me, she wrote. And the answer is the algorithm. It's sad to say that I've been viral for 40 days and 40 nights by just being me. From there, it turned into a full takedown of 50s standing in hip-hop. Shields wrote, MFS ain't never been the best in their field, no matter what era of their career. So 50 can stet FU for real. That line is the one that stuck. It's the one clipped into headlines everywhere. And it's the one that turned this from Papoose's girlfriend said something into Clarissa Shields told 50 Cent to shut up. She didn't stop at his rap career. She went after his character too, according to one write-up of the exchange. Shields was actively diminishing 50 Cent's accomplishments, suggesting his success never reached the pinnacle others might claim. And for someone whose entire brand revolves around being a winner and champion, having his achievements questioned by someone outside hip-hop had to be particularly galling. She even went further into personal territory. She offered an amateur psychological diagnosis suggesting 50 Cent needed therapy to deal with heartbreak that left him angry at successful people, a personal attack that painted him as someone whose hostility stemmed from unresolved emotional issues rather than legitimate conflicts. Shields also used the moment to push back on rumors about her spending that she said 50 had helped spread. The boxer pushed back against claims she said were being repeated about her lifestyle and spending, calling them flat out false. I literally have my receipts posted, Shields wrote. There is no LV luggage or duffel bag on there. And it didn't stop at money and rap rankings. Shields also called out a different layer of the criticism she was getting online, tying it to how she looks. In a follow-up post, she widened the lens. Boy, y'all hate everything about blackness. Being black, black women, black support, black unity, black noses, black A.S. It's really sad, she wrote, adding, I'm never joining the hate train of my own people. I didn't wear a full face of makeup till I was 24 years old. Now, here's the part that made this chapter feel like it might actually be over. 50 Cent, who almost never backs down publicly from anybody, appeared to fold. Her responses landed on 50 Cent's radar, and surprisingly, he waved the white flag. In a now-deleted Instagram post, he wrote, Okay, the truth is, I'm a Clarissa Shields fan. I think she is an amazing fighter, and she got a big fight coming up, so I'm gonna chill and let her focus. Let's go, champ. For a minute, it looked like the Shields chapter of this beef was closed. He'd praised her, wished her well, and said he was stepping back to let her focus on her career. She had a fight on the horizon. Shields was set to fight Franchon Cruz Dezern at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, a highly anticipated rematch of their professional debut almost a decade prior. Everything pointed toward 50, letting that moment breathe and taking his fight back to just Papoose. It's also worth remembering, this wasn't the first time Shields had gone viral for clapping back at somebody in this world. In the past, she's gotten into it with Cameron and, of course, Remy Ma, who is Papoose's ex-wife. She's never been someone who avoids conflict when it lands on her doorstep. So when 50 said he was chilling, plenty of people who follow this stuff figured it wouldn't last. They were right. While the Shields situation cooled for a moment, the actual music side of the beef kept building. And this is where Papoose made his loudest statement of the year, not through social media posts, but through actual songs. It started with a short shot over one of 50's own beats. Agent Provocateur came days after Papoose unleashed a brief diss track set to 50's Many Men. That's a pointed choice, using 50's own record against him before dropping the real one. And 50's first reaction to that wasn't a track of his own. The TV and entertainment mogul seemingly responded on Instagram by declining to engage with Papoose, even though he wasn't mentioned by name. Then came the full song, and it didn't hold back. Papoose dropped off his new diss track, Agent Provocateur, an incredibly scathing diss track that even in the way it starts is hard, beginning with bars about how 50 Cent allegedly lied about how many times he was shot, and even accusing him of trying to be too much like Tupac. One outlet described the opening bars the same way. Papoose's answer arrived with a newly released track opening with pointed claims, including lines that questioned the long-repeated story about how many times 50 Cent was shot. Later in the record, Papoose also suggests the rapper has drawn heavily from the style and legacy of Tupac Shakur. That's a 5-minute record built entirely around dismantling two of the pillars of 50's public image, the shooting story that's been part of his legend for 2 decades, and the persona he's built that draws comparisons to Tupac. Throughout the track, there are bars that cut deep, the kind of diss track that's hard to ignore, delivered across nearly 5 minutes. The record leans on sharp phrasing and deliberate pacing rather than spectacle. This wasn't Papoose swinging wildly either, depending on who you ask in New York hip-hop. He's one of the more technically respected voices in the game. Papoose is an MC's MC and has a ton of respect from New York artists. If 50 Cent tries to play him off as a chump, it's not going to work out. Another outlet put it similarly. Within New York hip-hop circles, Papoose has long been regarded as a lyricist's lyricist. So what did 50 do with a 5-minute, direct, technically sharp diss track aimed at 2 of the most sensitive parts of his public story? He didn't rap back. He mocked Papoose's commercial track record instead. Instead of responding musically, 50 Cent mocked Papoose's career achievements, joking that the formula for never blowing up in rap was 1 rap career plus 25 years plus 0 hits equals Papoose, and adding that he'd consider releasing a diss track only after Papoose produced a major hit record. That response reignited an old argument that's followed hip-hop for decades. Whether raw lyrical skill or commercial success matters more. The latest exchange reignited an old debate among fans. What matters more in rap today? Lyrical ability or hit records? On one side, Papoose has long been respected for his technical rapping ability, especially in freestyle circles and underground rap communities, with his lyrical skill widely praised by peers and fans who value complex wordplay and traditional New York battle rap energy. On the other side sits 50's argument that none of that matters if it never turned into chart success. And this wasn't happening in a vacuum. Papoose wasn't the only rapper actively pressing 50 during this stretch. Fifth had been on a reign of terror as of late. His feud with T.I. made waves for a few weeks, and he began beefing with Mano, Dave East, Jim Jones, and a plethora of other New York artists, which was rubbing people the wrong way, and even led to a diss track from Mano. That's the backdrop Papoose kept pointing back to. A rapper picking fights with half of New York and refusing to settle any of them the way rap beefs are supposed to get settled. On record, by the time Agent Provocateur dropped, 50's pattern was undeniable to anyone watching closely. He'd troll, he'd mock, he'd post AI images, but he wouldn't rap. And that pattern is exactly what set up the moment that made this whole thing worse again. 50 going back to the one person he'd said he was done with. So here's where it all circles back. 50 had said he was chilling on Clarissa Shields. He'd called himself a fan, wished her luck, told everyone he was letting the champ focus. That lasted right up until Papoose's diss track started landing. And then the old pattern reasserted itself. When 50 doesn't want to answer bars with bars, he finds another way to apply pressure. And this time that meant going straight back at Shields. That's the ring camera post. That's the accusation aimed at her relationship, dressed up as a joke about Papoose's manhood. And it's worth sitting with how far that is from where 50 said he'd land just weeks earlier. He went from praising her as an amazing fighter to publicly floating an infidelity claim with her name attached, tied to a name, Maserati Bud, that most casual observers wouldn't even recognize, which only added to how targeted and specific the jab felt. Shields, for her part, had already shown exactly how she responds when she's pulled into something she didn't start. She'd made clear she wasn't interested in staying silent just because Papoose asked her to hold back the first time. She'd said herself she can troll with the best of them. She just chose restraint while training for a fight. With the accusation escalating rather than fading, there was no reason to expect the same restraint twice. Meanwhile, Papoose kept doing what he'd already proven he does best, turning the moment into material. Instead of a formal response defending Shields point by point, he went back into 50's own history, pulling up the old photo of the two of them with Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks, and needling him about long-standing accusations that big-name rappers pad their numbers with fake streams. It's a classic move in this specific rivalry. Instead of matching insult for insult, dragging up 50's own past and his own crew to make the point that nothing 50 says lands clean, because his own history gives Papoose just as much ammunition. And Mano wasn't done either, with Bleed Like Us landing the same day 50 was juggling both Papoose's tracks and the fresh Shields controversy. The pressure on 50 from multiple directions at once was about as intense as it had been all year. Three separate voices, Papoose through his lyrics, Mano through his own track, and Shields through her online presence, all pointed at the same person in the same stretch of time. What makes this chapter different from the New Year's Day round is that there's no sign of an apology this time. There's been no deleted post calling Shields a fan, no "Let's go champ" message, no white flag. The rhetoric on 50's side has gone from mocking Papoose's career to something more personal aimed at his relationship. And Papoose's response has stayed just as personal right back, invoking 50's own former crew and his own long-standing insecurities about his career trajectory. It's also worth remembering the bigger picture 50 himself is operating inside of. This is a rapper simultaneously dealing with tension involving T.I., ongoing friction with Mano, unresolved history with Dave East and Jim Jones, and now a renewed fight with Papoose that keeps looping back to Shields every time it threatens to cool down. Every time one front quiets, another one flares. And Shields has become the one constant thread that keeps getting pulled back into it, whether she wants to be there or not. For Shields, the stakes couldn't be more different from everyone else involved. She's got a boxing career to protect, a rematch on her schedule against an opponent she's already beaten once, and a brand built on being undefeated in the ring, not on rap beef. Every time 50 drags her back into this, it's time and attention pulled away from training camp, and it's her name sitting next to accusations she never asked to be part of in the first place. For Papoose, the stakes are about respect in a genre where he spent decades being praised for skill without ever cracking the commercial ceiling. 50 keeps throwing back in his face. Every new track is another attempt to prove that bars still matter, even against someone who's decided not to answer him the way the culture usually demands. And for 50, the stakes are what they've always been in every one of his feuds. Control of the narrative, staying the one throwing punches instead of absorbing them, and making sure nobody outworks him on the trolling side, even if they outwork him lyrically. That's why the pattern keeps repeating. Every time the music side of this fight gets too sharp for comfort, he finds a way to redirect it, and this time that redirect went straight back through Shields. Where it goes from here is still open. Papoose has already shown he's willing to keep making records instead of letting things fade into old screenshots. Shields has already shown she doesn't stay quiet when she's the one getting dragged in. And 50 has shown over and over, across years of beefs with everyone from T.I. to Fabulous to Jim Jones to Mano, that he doesn't let things go quietly either. 3 people, 3 different reasons to keep pushing. And right now, nobody's backed off first. Clarissa Shields claps back at 50 Cent over his use of her face in Papoose beef. Face to Face Africa. 50 Cent drags Clarissa Shields into his response to Papoose's disses, Hot New Hip Hop. Clarissa Shields blasts 50 Cent in heated exchange. Rolling out, Clarissa Shields tells 50 Cent to STFU amid Papoose beef, Complex. Clarissa Shields tells 50 Cent to STU over Papoose beef, Hip Hop Wired. Clarissa Shields takes 50 Cent fight to the internet, telling him to STFU, Yahoo Sports. 50 Cent trolls Papoose with Clarissa Shields' post as feud escalates, Complex. Clarissa Shields calls out anti-blackness in critics of her appearance amid Papoose feud with 50 Cent, the griot. Papoose completely unleashes on 50 Cent with surprise diss track Agent Provocateur, Hot New Hip Hop. Papoose revisits feud with 50 Cent on diss track Agent Provocateur, Complex. Papoose takes aim at 50 Cent on new diss track Agent Provocateur, Hot 97. 50 Cent and his beef with Papoose explained all the moments that led to their feud. Vice. 50 Cent fires back at Papoose after diss track, reigniting the debate over lyricism versus hit records in hip-hop.